All right, everybody. Good afternoon. Hope you guys are doing well on this Victory Monday. It is still Victory Monday. Got a Monday night game starting in not terribly long here, but before we get there, we got some Pro Football Focus stuff to look at. And I'll tell you, Pro Football Focus, it feels like they're going through it lately. A lot of people really questioning them. A lot of people really starting to doubt their findings. A lot of people starting to really wonder if their grading is based in reality. It seems like there's a lot of people who are really starting to wonder about this whole PFF thing, but I like to look at it every week. They do a lot of objective things as well. Their grading is only part of what they do. So I think there's a lot of value here, even if you don't agree with the grading. They do have some things that are a little bit more clearly correct. So I like to still look at that. So we're going to take a look at the offense here from yesterday. First, though, back in 60 seconds. All right, guys, let's take a minute so I can tell you about Sleeper, a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. You can celebrate and chat on sports games in real time with other users. You can get the fastest scores, blazing fast sports news and sports alerts right at your fingertips. And of course, you can use Sleeper to play in fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. This is the way sports were meant to be enjoyed together. So download Sleeper today. Use promo code SBN to get up to a $100 match on your first deposit. And you can pair that with another promo they have right now where you can get a $20 entry free with no deposit required. So get both of those things going. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper today. Get to it and go have some fun with sports this year. Okay, so I think we know who the stars of the show were yesterday offensively for the most part. So the top line is not going to surprise anybody. Sam Darnold, 92.6, one of his best games of the year. And there's really not much to say other than that was very special. 92.6, you're not going to find very many quarterbacks in the entire league that get graded that high this season or any season. JSN, over a 90 as well on 34 snaps, according to PFF. He had 140 yards from scrimmage, another 8 catches. Good things. Good things are happening, people. Very, very special things. So appreciate this while it's here. Because even though he may end up having a really great career, JSN will probably never be as productive and as good any other season in his career as he is right now. That's just being realistic. Corey Horton, third place, makes sense. A couple touchdowns, caught every pass thrown his way, converted some third downs. Abe Lucas with a penalty, 72.7. And that's notable because most of the other players on this team that were graded poorly probably were graded poorly because of a penalty. So Abe Lucas, that tells you that he's doing something really good. Sundell, 72.5, one of his best games of the year. He's if you listen to PFF, he's starting to round into shape here. Maybe just in time to buy himself some time before as we head into the trade deadline and maybe make this team think they don't need another center right now. Arroyo, well graded, makes sense, caught a touchdown, was effective as a receiver, generally speaking. Cody White, just one catch, but I mean, it's a great catch. And they also gave him some credit for run blocking as well. Collar Up didn't play very much, but he got graded pretty well in the snaps that he did get because of his run blocking. Cable Do, only 3 snaps, but whatever. Charbonnet, 66.4. When he's not getting those outside pitches, he's still doing work. K9, well graded as well. Both running backs get almost the same grade. Bradford, above sea level, right? 63. Pass blocking was really good according to Pro Football Focus. So, hey, we need some good news with this guy because the unfortunate reality is, as of me recording this video, we've got less than 24 hours before the trade deadline. So there's a very good chance Bradford's just going to be the right guard the rest of the season, and we got to just hope it works. It's probably more than 50% at this point, right? Like, how could it not be? So if he can look competent, that's good. A bunch of guys who barely played next up here in the 60s range doesn't really mean anything. Some of the lower grades, Cross was actually a little below replacement level here, 57.8. And it was pretty much all because of the run blocking, which PFF was not impressed by, and the one penalty he had, which, look, I mean, maybe he didn't have such a great day run blocking yesterday. I'm not saying that's wrong, but by PFF's own admission, he was really good pass blocking. I don't know how you say a left tackle is playing at a below replacement level when he's, by your own admission, doing an excellent job in pass protection. Like, you're a left tackle. That's what you do. You're a pass protector. So I can't say I agree with it. I'm not saying he played stellar, but I think this doesn't accurately reflect his impact. AJ Barner, not much. They didn't seem to think much of his game, which is interesting. It wasn't a huge game, I guess, but I didn't get the sense he was like a detriment. And then there were three guys they were genuinely down on, like super like negative about. Lonnie, which that doesn't really matter. He barely played. Robbie Oots only played 13 snaps, and he had a 15-yard penalty on one of those snaps, so of course he's going to get a really low grade. That makes sense. Excuse me. I also wonder if PFF's really what you want to look at to evaluate fullback play anyway. They probably don't have a good feel for it. Left guard Gray Zabel is the one that really stands out here, though. 44.3, again, pretty much all because of the run blocking. They thought he was great in pass protection, and a penalty. Which, look, penalties are bad. You don't want to have penalties, but I definitely did not get the sense that Gray Zabel was terrible last night, and that's basically what this grade indicates. They're saying that he was legitimately just really bad. Not just bad, like really bad, to be a 44.3, and I didn't get that sense. I didn't get the sense that he was significantly worse than Anthony Bradford. I didn't get the sense that he was, pound for pound, the worst player on the field for the Seahawks offense. So, yeah, I'm not really buying that. But most of this stuff is pretty agreeable, right? All right, so those are the top line grades. That's the kind of the basic stuff. Let's drill in a little bit here. First, the passing grades with Darnold. Couple things I like to look at here. Big time throws. He had 3 of them according to PFF last night, which that's actually a pretty good number, especially when he only threw the ball 24 times. 1 turnover worthy play, which was in fact a turnover. So, well, I mean, it is, I guess, by whatever definition you want to use. So, pressured 3 times the whole game, by the way. 3 pressures on Darnold this whole game. Pretty wild. Pretty out of control how clean he was kept. Passing chart is, again, really good. He's pushing the ball down the field and making plays, getting the ball in the end zone on these throws more than 20 yards down the field. 3 for 3. Intermediate stuff, really good as well. Close to the line of scrimmage stuff, great. Used in the middle of the field a lot. Only 1 throw behind the line of scrimmage, which is definitely notable. I think most people are going to be happy about that. And we didn't necessarily need to do a lot of stuff behind the line of scrimmage because the pass rush was pretty toothless, but that is something that needs to get better at some point. I know that those plays don't work that well for us, but the solution is not to abandon it. Like, this offensive line is playing well right now. I don't believe that they're so good that we don't have to worry about throwing any screen passes ever. Like, that's how you take pressure off the offensive line. So, yeah, it's a clean passing chart, using pretty much all areas of the field effectively. Okay, receiving grade stuff. I don't really care about most of the stuff on this page, but especially with Cooper Kupp out, it's always interesting to see who's playing in the slot and who's not. Even in a game where Cooper Kupp is out, JSN is still playing all of his snaps as a wide receiver. 19 snaps as a wide out, only 5 in the slot. Cody White and Torrey Horton both had more slot snaps than JSN. So even in a game where he could move into the slot full time, he doesn't. And I think that really shows how much faith we have in him. I think that shows how much we think of him. And yeah, it's wild, man. It's pretty wild that we feel this comfortable with JSN just now being an outside receiver and it doesn't affect him negatively in the slightest. He's maybe about to have the most productive season by any receiver in history. Maybe not in terms of touchdowns, I guess, but I went over it earlier today. He might have 2,000 yards this season. That's never been done before. We haven't. It's not like we've ever had a season where somebody came 3 yards shy of it either, or even like 11. No, it's actually a pretty. You would have thought a pretty unbreakable thing. All right. The receiving grades versus coverage stuff. Again, I don't look at everything, but I do like to see what we're doing with JSN from week to week. And again, he's matched up against Trey Amos, Jonathan Jones, Marshawn Lattimore. Those are the three main corners in Washington, but he also got 4 targets against linebackers. So even though he's an outside receiver now, we are finding ways to get very, very out of balance matchups for him. And it's making his life really easy. Like Bobby Wagner in coverage on JSN is not fair. So Frankie Louvu, those guys aren't even good cover linebackers by linebacker standards. And we're putting Washington in situations where they have to match up with him that way. So I definitely like that. Definitely love what I see there. And that's really all I want to look at on this page. So let's go with rushing by direction. Rushing by direction. We've got not a lot to say, right? We've got not a heck of a lot going on. Our most productive run of the day was probably a jet sweep, which, hey, I like jet sweeps, so nothing wrong with that. But in terms of like meaningful data, I think our most success running the ball was probably to the left, middle left, and off left guard. 7 carries, averaged over 5 yards a carry on those carries. So everything else was just kind of not effective. And yeah, not too much to say. Off left end, not even 2 yards a carry. Off right end, not even 3 yards a carry. And those are the areas where you would hope things would go well in this game because you've got K9 playing most of the game. And you're going up against some really slow linebackers in Wagner and Louvu. I do think that Walker had a couple successful outside runs in this game, and then we gave a couple to Charbonnet, and he did nothing. That probably brought down the average, so it's not like those plays are necessarily bad. It's not like they were ineffective. It's just we kind of wiped out the efficiency of those plays by letting Charbonnet have a couple when that's not his game. But we still feel like we have to give him those carries every now and then so the defense knows it's coming. And that kind of speaks to the overall strategy of this team, where they are willing to kind of throw away a lot of plays on unproductive rushes. These 2-yard carries, 1-yard carries, negative carries, because they feel like wasting those plays and forcing the defense into stacked boxes to stop those plays are more valuable than actually having those plays be good, because we're killing the stacked boxes off play action. And for the moment, it is working. And it's not something that I've seen a lot of in the NFL, so I don't know how sustainable it is, but it seems like this team is willing to eat that. And I mean, I certainly can't criticize it yet. Not really. I can criticize it when it stops working. And with the exception of the first game of the year, it has not stopped working. Ever since that Pittsburgh game where the offense finally got going, they really haven't stopped. Okay, pass protection, there's going to be a very little to talk about here. I mean, my God. 1 pressure allowed by the blockers on Sam Darnold. So 2, they didn't give to any blocker. But there was 1 pressure this whole game that they gave to a blocker, and it was Charles Cross. By the way, they still graded Charles Cross our highest pass blocker in the whole game. So Zabel, really well graded. Bradford, Lucas, Walker, Sundell, AJ Barner. I mean, some of these guys didn't get a lot of opportunities, right? Josh Jones had 1 pass blocking rep. AJ Barner had 5. Collerup had 3. So it's not like we learned a lot, but you're never going to see a pass protection slate this clean. 1 pressure allowed by a blocker on the quarterback. So, yeah, I mean, what else are you going to say? That it doesn't get better than that. And run blocking, again, the only thing I really care about looking at here for the most part is zone versus gap. A lot more zone than gap. You can look at Lucas here, 16 run blocking snaps zone, 6 gap. So definitely highly favoring zone in this one, which, I mean, it wasn't completely ineffective. There were problems with the rushing game, but I don't think that it was a complete loss, even if we didn't put up great numbers running the ball. Not just for the reasons I was talking about a few minutes ago, but also I think Walker was being pretty effective out there, and then he had like one negative play that messed up the averages, but we didn't run the ball enough to where he had a chance to kind of get those yards back. So I'm not against it, and I will say that the run blocking grades for these guys was not very good overall. Like Lucas had a good run blocking grade, Sundle I guess was good. Other than that, like Arroyo on 8 or 10 run blocking snaps was okay. Collar up was good, but it's only 8 snaps. But look at all this like yellow and even a little bit of red and some orange. For whatever that's worth. I don't put a lot of stock into run blocking grades from PFF, but zone versus gap is always interesting. Okay, so that's going to do it for this video. I will talk to you guys later. Couple of hours, I'll do the defense. You guys know the drill. And yeah, it's pretty good, man. It's pretty good. I mean, the offense, look, I think about this. These grades were after a game where the Seahawks basically took the second half off. We put up 31 points in the first half, and then we basically sleptwalked through the second half. That's going to pull the grades down a little bit. Think about where we would have been at halftime in this game. Pretty wild. Okay. See you guys later. Go Hawks. Again, as of me recording this video, nothing on the trade deadline, but maybe something will happen between now and the actual posting of the video. So, hold your breath. We're almost to the deadline, and then we can stop thinking about it, but until we get there, we cannot stop thinking about it.